Hello, my name is Genia Gutierrez, and my PowerPoint will be based on the chapter Love. What is modern love? Now, a film that I chose to compare on what love is, I chose Friends with Benefits. I enjoy film, so that's why I specifically chose a film. The story is basically about these two who work in the same industry. One is an executive director, and she's an art director. She basically convinces him, she's trying to convince him to take a job at the New York office at the GQ magazine. The two become good friends, and she basically, in the path of her trying to convince him to take on the job, they become connected, and they start expressing to each other what love means to them, and why it's so complicated, and why not do it, and why just leave that alone and just become friends and all these things. So after he gets the job, after she decides to take the job, she and him start hanging out and doing things together, and they both take an oath to basically be friends with benefits, and for it to be nothing more but physical. But they believe it's something just physical, but it ends up adding, they have a good relationship and they hold a strong connection, so they confide in each other, share things with one another. So things get a little complicated when they try to pretend that it's just friends with benefits, but in reality, there's more, because they have this strong bond that they understand each other. And then they both end up trying to get into relationships, but ends up becoming a little more misunderstanding because their feelings get involved and they actually care about each other. Love's meaning. Now, I know love can be glorified in many different ways. It can be glorified in pain. It can be romantic. It can be affectionate. It can be millions of different ways. And to culture to culture, there's different perceptions of what love can be, depending on where they're from or what they've watched or who they've been brought around, their environment, and what you're taught or from past experiences. A story of love, an example is Romeo and Juliet. I even put this picture down here to show an example of the story or the film or the book or any of that. And their love stories are tragic and forbidding, but it's another example of love and what a perception of love can mean to some, or maybe otherwise can disagree. I think this is an example that we can consider. I mean, like I said, this was a different concept of story, but at the end it was another story showing what love can be and how others can believe it was. Like Shakespeare, this is what he believed to be a strong connection with two people, and this is just another example of this film. Platonic love. Now, I believe Friends with Benefits was a platonic type of love. The two create this relationship just as something physical, as friends, but it leads more than that, than physical pleasure, and they end up being pulled in by each other's beauty and commonness with each other. The two are intimate and affectionate other than sexual, which proves, if you watch the film, they spend time together, they laugh with each other, they're comfortable with one another, so it's just not physical. They have this relationship that they end up sleeping with one another and being physical, but it ends up being more than that once they see how connected and comfortable they were with one another. They convince themselves that it's only physical, which is why things get complicated, because they're not really understanding why emotions came in, but they realize at the end they fall deeply in love for each other, and that's why it's platonic, because they fall in love with one another's insides other than the outside. Agree or disagree. Now, some may agree that it's platonic, and some may disagree that it's platonic. Now, reason why I felt it was platonic is they do fall in love besides the physicality of their relationship. They fall in love with each other's similarities that they hold, and they find one another intriguing, their beauty. Some may disagree. I can see why. I mean, at the beginning, it does seem like something sexual, which platonic isn't sexual. It's supposed to be intimate and affectionate and something inside that you feel. But which is why I feel like the story kind of has like can be diverse. You can think that it's not platonic, but at the same time, if you watch the whole film, it leads up to platonic. Their love shifts and becomes beyond that, and it becomes something very romantic, very connected, and they have this strong passion for each other, even though they think they're not supposed to, or they've agreed they weren't, but in reality, they love each other. Has love changed? But I believe love has inspired amongst us everywhere around the world. Whether it's, we're in modern times now, so there's all types of love. There's gay love, there's straight love, there's, transgender love, there's, there's all types of love. And, and I think this is just another form, this film, of modern day love. I guess some people may follow friends with benefits and some may not. And so I just thought this was they wanted to show a love in the sense of a humor form, which I think was pretty cool. The same concepts of love do apply regardless of how. I think they fall in love and they fall out of love, they connect, they don't connect. And I believe now love is the same exact way, just as it was before. It's just more different because, times have changed, and is expressed in different forms and ways and culture and aspects. And I believe at the same, it all connects to one way. I believe it's still all the same. The work of love has multiplied, but still works the same connection at the end. So even though it may seem like, the love can come off as just back then, like Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, and that's the way love is, I think at the end, this is just another form, this film, of modern time love and what it can cause and what can happen and things like that. Why I picked this film. Now, I picked this film because, well, for one, I thought this film is very entertaining, and I enjoy watching movies, and I'm a sucker for romantic movies. I thought rather than old-time love, it was pleasing to see love expressed in such a humorous, modern way. This was appealing and entertaining to watch at the same time. It had you laughing, but it had you at the same time like, oh, these two are going to definitely fall for each other, and I thought that was pretty cool. It has like a little shift, a little twist. You think that this isn't going to happen, but at the end of the day, it ends up happening. They're convinced themselves that their relationship isn't going to be love. It's just friends with benefits, and this is all it's going to happen. But at the end, I mean, if you watch the whole movie, you'll see, and I believe if you haven't watched it, you should. The film has you laughing the whole time, and I think watching movies that make you laugh are actually awesome to do. Not only will it have you laughing, but it'll have you on the relationship as well, because, there's a connection at the end, and it came off so strong, and they were good friends, they were good friends who cared, and they thought, oh, we're just making this physical, this is all it's going to be. But at the end, they connected, and it became love and strong and platonic, and I believe that my favorite love out of everything we've learned, I think, is platonic. I think it's pretty cool that, there's more to it than just physicality. And this film kind of showed that.